Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. So as we get into it, we're talking about the purpose-driven entrepreneur. And one of the things I realize is that so many entrepreneurs, they define success differently. How do you define success?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because I think for me, it can change from day to day. Sometimes success can be just dealing with a client, or it could be getting to nap for the day.
Oh,
For me, success, I take them day by day. Because if I look at, I'm not very good at thinking long term for myself, and I find that things just happen and life happens, and so it's better for me to go with that than making these huge audacious plans and then getting really upset when they go off track because I'm a little about all
yeah.
the bits and details. So for me, depends on the day. But yes, napping and getting time for myself are definitely up there.
Awesome. And it's amazing. It's been an amazing journey for me having these conversations because that's a question I ask all the experts, and everybody have a different response. And one of the things, however, that is unique about it is that nobody has said success is something tangible, whether it's money, house, or car, or whatever. So I think it's good that the entrepreneurs are listening because so many of them are in the early stages of their business because they get to understand that what you're working towards, it's not something that you can touch. It's really something on the inside. And I love how you put it. Today may be a successful day if you get to rest. It may be a successful day if you get some sleep. Tomorrow it may be something else depending on your goal. So I absolutely, absolutely love it. So entrepreneurs, you get to define success the way how you see it and how you feel good on the inside. So Janice is the CEO for Introverts, right? So why was it important for you to focus on introverts?
It actually was an accident. So my background is in human resources, and I spend a lot of time interviewing and recruiting and dealing with managers, and noticed there is a trend for hiring, the hiring process being extrovert skewed, especially in the
Mm.
United States or in other Western countries. And I ended up doing a workshop called Networking for Introverts, mainly in Southeast Asia, because they were working for American companies, but their culture is more introvert leaning. And I noticed what the difficulties were and the perceptions, because there are definite perceptions about introverts and there are perceptions about extroverts. And it's not one versus the other, it's just we're, as humans, we are different. And then I ended up being asked to speak at an event called 7 and 7, where I was talking about not trying to recreate the office in a virtual setting because it was with a bunch of digital nomads. And they assumed that I was coaching introverts on this. And I wasn't. And so they were like, you should be doing this. And because of them, and I'm forever grateful for them and their community, I ended up starting to coach specifically for introverts, and because I am also an introvert.
That's awesome. And I took from that story as well that sometimes when you're continuing on your journey, you kind of bounce into, or you realize what your passion is. And as we talk about purpose-driven entrepreneurs, some persons are like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm following my purpose, or I'm not sure if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. You probably are. You're just the time will come when you will branch off and do it in the space that you were meant to do it. So you said that it bounced up on you. So tell us, Janice, who is an introvert? Define that for us.
In my opinion, asterisk, small print.
Yeah.
It is somebody. It depends on where you get your energy from. So for me, I do better by myself or one on one, maybe one on two. But big groups and large parties where there's a lot of noise and there's a lot of people and interaction, I find it very draining for various reasons. For me, I can do it for short periods of time, but the longer I do it, the more drained I feel and the more irritable I get. And whereas extroverts tend to get their energy from interacting with people. So I know that what's been happening this year and last year has been very hard for a lot of extroverts, because of the lack of interaction, and social interaction is really important to them. So it's not necessarily about having social anxiety or being shy, because there are definitely shy extroverts. It's just a matter of where you get your energy from, and how you learn about that and how you deal with it in the world will help you moving forward.
And I love that term, where you get your energy from, because it now takes it from I'm an introvert, so I need to stay back, or I can't be like somebody else. But you can see where it is that you get your energy from and then channel your actions there. So talk to us a little bit, Janice, about how do people who are classified as introverts, like when you say where they get their energy from, how do they identify that and still be as successful as an extrovert, or still be out there or present as an extrovert?
Um, what I've actually found is they are present, but in different ways. So being present, for example, for some people, being present might be being on every social media platform, and for some people that doesn't work. Doing video, Facebook Lives. There's a lot of gurus, and I don't like that word, out there saying that you have to do this and you have to do that. There is not one way of doing something. It's just what works for you. So, for example, I hate writing, though most people would say that introverts like to be alone and like to write. I hate writing, not what I do. But it doesn't mean I can't be an author. I've done a video series just like this, taken the content and made it into a book. Still an author, just didn't sit in a cabin for 4 months like writing a book. It's just finding ways to repurpose your content to be out there or be visible. And what I've found with a lot of introvert business owners is they need to find their community, whether they realize it or not, because you can't do it all by yourself, finding a community that works for you, or maybe multiple communities. And that's how you end up growing your business. Especially if you have one-on-one conversations with people or small groups that have a lot in common or totally different, and you're just going there for hobby reasons or just to learn. Finding those communities will help you move you forward, or even like a mastermind or an accountability. Those are certain things that will help you learn different skills, be more comfortable, that it's okay to do what you do. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing. Like Pinterest works wonders for a lot of businesses, but extroverts don't care about Pinterest because they don't get their energy from it, because it seems very passive, right?
Yeah.
But it's got a huge following. So it's finding the things that work for you, with your energy. Maybe you can do a summit like this, but you pre-record everything, and so you lay it out so that you do interviews once a week, and then at the end of the 6 months or whatever, then you release them. You can still do things. It's just pacing it with you and your energy and figuring out what works for you. Don't give yourself back-to-back meetings, because no one likes that. As humans, no one likes back-to-back meetings. It's not an introvert or extrovert thing. It's just we're all tired of Zoom thing. So and it's okay to put boundaries, and I think that's one of the main issues that happens, is putting boundaries, because we're online 24/7 and expected to respond to messages and emails straight away. It can be very like Pavlov's dog. Anytime the ping goes off, you're like, oh, I have to respond. And I know a lot of business owners who are very much like, I only check my email on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I will get back to you on one of those days. As long as you set the expectations, anyone who isn't into that won't work with you. And anyone who is like, oh, that's a great idea, those are the people you want to work with.
I love that. And I can say I saw that even in your email. You set it so the minute somebody communicates with you, they know exactly what they're getting into, and they choose to or they choose not to, and your community comes and follow you. And when you shared how it is that you can decide where you get your energy from and what works for you, there's a suggestion I got from another expert where she's like, okay, just put something out there. I am targeting 20-year-olds who are just starting a business, for argument's sake. Would you want to hop on a call with me? And you get to talk to those persons, ask them some questions. Are these your pain points? Is this how you want to be communicated with? And you kind of narrow down your niche so that you don't feel forced to be out there. As Janice said, the gurus are saying, oh, you need to be present. That now makes you feel pressured, and you can get some anxiety from that. And then you don't do anything because you don't get your energy from that, so I absolutely love that. So Janice, is it then for introverts, are there character traits that introverts possess that could negatively impact their business, as they move towards success?
I'm not going to say introvert specifically, but does tend to be introvert leaning, is overthinking.
Okay.
And over researching. I still do that. Like, no one is perfect, and there's no like someone who's like, I've got it nailed, but definitely overthinking something and not giving it a try. And you can give it a try with like one person if you don't want to do a whole bunch of people. And that's why accountability or having like a trusted group is really important. So overthinking and over researching, because you're looking outside at what other people are doing rather than looking inside and being like, this is what works for me, or this is what I feel might be a good idea. Let me ask some people and see if that would work, or let me put it out there, give it 6 months, see if anyone bites, and if not, just put it away again. It's better to try and like put it out there and then tweak, because nothing's ever perfect the first time you put it out there. So it's fine to put it out there, tweak it, ask questions, get feedback, and then reiterate and reiterate. That's how you learn as a person, and how people can see that you are growing. Clients love to see you growing, because then they kind of look and they're inspired by your growth. So seeing your mistakes or seeing what you do will help inspire your clients.
Yeah, I love that. And, I really want to encourage the entrepreneurs, watch all the videos. All our experts are connected. They have been there. They've been through the valley. They've been on the mountaintop. They understand what they're saying. And I say that because in a previous interview I had, the expert was saying something similar to you. And, overthinking and being afraid to be messy, as you said. It's okay. Your clients want to see you that way. They want to see that you made a mistake, and they want to see how you bounce back, because they are following you and they're on the journey with you. So go ahead and do it. And in another one of the interviews, when we spoke about perfectionism causes procrastination, and then you never get anywhere. And so what? We all mess up. We don't have things perfect all the time. So that's amazing. So as you are also a SEO specialist, let me call it that, what are some things that entrepreneurs can use in order to get their presence out there? Even if, I know we're talking about introverts, but we can broaden it to all entrepreneurs. So if I don't get my energy from being on video all the time or putting my picture on social media, when it talks about services that can help me to get my presence out there, what are some of the things that I can do?
Well, this is why I'm so into SEO, because I do have social media presence, but it's not where I'm at. For me, where I am most public is sort of my newsletter. But for the SEO, why it's important just to have regular blog posts. Even if you don't like writing, you can get someone to write it for you, because you'll have ideas and you'll be like, I want to write something about this thing, and someone can go ahead and write it in your voice. That is fine. Just have regular blog posts, maybe twice a month, ideally 4 times a month. And from that one blog post, you can then go ahead and put a snippet in it in your newsletter, and take quotes from it and put it in Twitter, and take quotes from it and ask questions on Facebook, and lead everyone back to your website. Because Google's algorithms change, but not the way Facebook and Instagram and all those other, because it's other people's land. The whole thing, don't build your house on other people's land. Whereas your website is yours. Okay, it's on a hosting, but it's yours. And the emails that you get, the email addresses you get, are also, being lent to you. They are subscribing in. They are opting in to hear from you. Whereas on Facebook, they're scrolling and you might pop up, but it's not because they're looking for you. And so it's really better to have people that are looking for you and want to hear from you on your mailing list. So with SEO, you can take that one piece of content and repurpose it into 14, 20, 50 different types of content. And that's something that people kind of forget. They write it and then forget about it, instead of writing it, repurposing it, and then bringing it up again and again every 6 months. Just bring it up and refresh it, or highlight it, or go and guest blog on somebody else's thing. But SEO is fairly consistent, and you get a higher return on investment, like if you end up doing Google ads, than you would with Facebook ads, because of the way that things work with the land of Facebook. And right now they're having problems with Apple, so that's a whole other issue.
Yeah, and I realized this a few months ago when I was struggling with creating content to post on social media. It just felt like a lot of work, and I'm thinking, okay, I need to create content. I need to write my blog, and I thought about just exactly what you said. If I'm writing a blog post for this week, that's the trend I'm on. So I can pull out a sentence, a code, 2 words, 3 words, and that goes on social media. Or if I'm doing a video, that goes on social media as well. So I'm happy that you're saying it, because sometimes we think that we need to create all these new things, and as you just said, you can repeat it after 6 months. because whatever you're sharing is still relevant, and it's still going to be relevant tomorrow and next year. And there'll be persons who join your tribe, join your community, who never heard you talk about it, and as such, it is relevant to them. You look like you want to say something, Janice.
Yes, because so many times we write a blog or a book and we assume that everyone has seen it. And that's not the case, because people get their information from different places and at different times. So yes, beat them over the head with it. It is fine.
It's the same thing for videos. You do a video for 15 minutes, or you do an interview for half an hour. There are so many different pieces that you can get from it that you can use. So it's just about taking the time to do it. So Janice, I don't think I've ever heard anybody focus on extroverts, just in terms of preparing them, or, I'm an extrovert CEO. What is it then that is so special, and I'm saying special in quotation, about introverts, outside of you also being an introvert, that they need, support? They need support.
Well, it's funny you mention that, because I get extrovert leaders coming to me because they have introvert members of staff and they don't know how to interact with them to get the best out of them. Or I've definitely had extrovert managers going like, I'm sending you this manager. I could promote them, but they need to learn X, Y, and Z. So why extroverts? There are definitely extrovert coaches, but they don't publicize themselves as extroverts. And I'll tell my opinion is because there is a lot of negative press. Like, introversion has a PR problem. The dictionaries say we're loners and lone wolves and like really negative words. Whereas when you see the word extrovert, it says charismatic and like all these other things.
Yeah.
I'm an introvert and I'm charismatic. What's up with that? So introversion has a PR problem, and that's why there's some more, or appears to be more, support out there than for extroverts. There are definitely extroverts leadership coaches out there, but they coach in a very different way and are looking at different aspects and different things that extroverts may or may not have issues with, because it could be a case of, I'm so busy socializing and talking to other people that I don't actually get my work done.
Correct.
So that's the flip side of it. So it's just a case of you tend to see various things, and then once you do see it, you become very much more aware of, and then you see it everywhere. It's like blue cars, and then all of a sudden all cars are blue. It's just
I love that, because I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I really don't get my energy from being in large crowd. I'm working remotely now, and I'm good working remotely. I'm perfect. I have no issue. I will bring in the audience when I'm ready. And then my husband is completely different. He needs to be out there, and any social events we've had at home, it was my husband's idea, guaranteed. But then what you find is when persons get to meet, but they're like, oh, so you do talk. Oh, you do run joke. And I'm like, I'm a normal person. So, it's amazing how, as you say, it is a PR thing. And when you talk about introverts, extroverts, and the fact that they're just out there and not being able to get things done, I have a client just like that right now, where I'm saying to her, you don't need to go on everybody's live and comment. It's okay. You don't need to show up every minute in the group and talk. It's okay, because guess what? Those of us who you're talking to, who are introverts, and we're analyzers, and we have structured our day. We aren't even going to look at your comments until a scheduled time. So, it's amazing how, the introverts probably believe that, we need to be out there being seen. The extroverts are out there. We're saying, hey, pull it back. So everybody have their time. And I do agree that the extroverts aren't branded that way, but they are supporting the extroverts who are out there too much and need a little structure, because they're just bubbly and out there every minute. So amazing for that. So I'm asking all my entrepreneurs this question. As an entrepreneur, what is the most important question that one should ask themselves?
Wow. Because this can go in so many different directions.
That you're feeling right now.
What I'm feeling right now is, pick your clients like you would pick a potential partner. Do they have the same values as you? Do they treat their staff right? Do they I don't know if they're into charities, what kind of, like, what do they do? And not what's in their like pretty page, but what do you actually see them doing? And how
Yeah.
does that make you feel? Do you feel, would you work with someone and be public the fact that you work with that person or organization? Or would you be like, no, they've done some really shady stuff? Or they're making a change, and that's fine. They could be bringing you in because they're like, yeah, we did the shady stuff and now we want to change. That's fine. But are they just continuing to do shady stuff? I don't know. That's every now and then you find a client that looks really good on paper, and then the more you dig, you're like, oh.
Yeah. You're like, you know what? That doesn't connect with me and where I'm going and what I'm doing. I could do without that. But I love that. I love that. You know, everybody has something different, and you pick your clients the same, would pick your partner, and would you go public with that person? So that's an amazing thing for us to think about, and it's an awesome thinking pattern, Janice, because at the end of the day, sometimes as entrepreneurs, you might be just going after the money, after the client. If I can book this client, then. But if you want to take care of what you're doing and make sure that you're out there the way you authentically want to be out there, then you want to make sure that, you know, your clients who you're bringing through your funnel and the clients who are coming to you are really aligned with your purpose, so that, you know, you can realize your passion. So that is awesome, Janice, and thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been a lovely little girl chat with my fellow introverts. So as I told you before, Janice is also a coach, and as such, I want to give her an opportunity to talk to us about what she offers, what she has to offer to you guys as well. And then what we will do is drop the link right below this video. You go ahead and check her out and see how she can serve you. So over to you, Janice.
Well, to be fair, I have a couple of things, but the main thing that I do is what we talked about earlier, is sort of a team in a box service. As what I've discovered with my clients as introverts is they find it really difficult to manage a team. They know they need to grow and they can't do it by themselves, but they don't want to be searching on Fiverr and Upwork and different companies to try and pull together a team, because most of the time you need, I don't know, 2 hours of a podcast editor and 3 hours of a VA and a copywriter. And you need all these little things, but you don't need a full-time person. So what we do is we do team in a box, where you get to strategize with me for a 3-month strategy. We take away all the tasks that need doing, and then I get my team of experts who are podcast managers only. That's all they do, is like podcast editing or copywriting, and we manage that for you so stuff gets done. And one of the main parts of that is the SEO service, where we write blogs for you, 4 blogs, 2 blogs a month, and we purpose the content for you and then give it to your VA if you have one, or we will schedule it and publish it for you so you don't have to worry about visibility issues. So yeah, you get the best of both worlds. You get a bit of coaching from a fellow introvert, and you get a team to get the work done for you.
That sounds on point. On point. Team in a box. I love it. That way, you know, everything is being done for you guys. I often say to persons, you know, I started this because I work in strategy in a corporate office, and in corporate they have a team. You have your marketing, you have your IT, you have your sales, you have your publicist. Everybody's around you. As an entrepreneur, you are it. And so you need the services. So don't get bogged down with trying to figure out how you're going to do everything. If there is support, get support. And as entrepreneurs, all successful entrepreneurs will tell you, get help. Don't try and do it on your own. Get help, and don't be afraid to get it, and stop thinking about the cost to get it. It's going to cost you more if you don't, because then you're going to procrastinate and you won't move along and things won't get done. And we want to get things done so that you can be successful, whatever way you define success. So thank you so much, Janice, for being here with us today. It's been a wonderful girl chat, as I said before. And go ahead and click the links right below this video, and so you can access Janice. Thank you, guys. Thank you,
Thank
Janice.
you.